There are some common misconceptions with email that chances are costing you big money. And so in this video, I'm going to share with you 5 myths about emails that could be hurting your bank account and your bottom line. So my name is Kevin Sanderson from LGN Marketing, and I have seen a lot of these misconceptions, we can call them, about email marketing because I have been in the weeds with email for many years, that I can track at least 20 million emails that I've sent out, over $1.5 million in digital product sales, and about that in trackable recurring revenue for services that I've been able to generate through email marketing. And so to get into these misconceptions and how you can prevent them from hurting you, let's go ahead and get into that here right now. So first off, the misconception is that email is dead. You hear this periodically from time to time. People will say, oh, well, email is dead. Let's focus on social media, or doing DMs. Now that there's AI, oh, that's going to be the end of it. At the end of the day, people want to have relationships with people they know, like, and trust. And email is still one of those best tools that you're able to get in front of your target markets and people that have already raised their hand to say that they're somewhat interested in what you have to say. And the reality is, email is still one of the highest ROI channels in marketing. In fact, according to HubSpot recently, they did a survey, and email had an ROI of about 36 to 1. So that means for every dollar spent on marketing on email, it returned about $36. I mean, that's amazing. And if you do it right, you do it well, sometimes that number was about 45 to 1. So for all the things you could be doing, both for time as well as for other efforts, email is still going to be one of the best. And the reality is, yeah, you might look in your own inbox and say, you know what, there's a whole lot of emails in there, but well done email is underutilized. And most service businesses that I talk to, they might have an email list that they've generated, and they may not be using it as well as they could be. And they're just barely scratching the surface of what their email marketing could do, if they're even doing email marketing at all. And so the channel works. It's all about having consistency and having a system around it so that you do it often enough that you are nurturing these potential relationships, that you're getting those initial fast wins from your email, as well as creating future clients and customers through email marketing. So the next myth is that subject lines are everything. Focus on the subject line. It seems like I see all these people talking about subject line, subject line, subject line. And subject lines are great. Don't get me wrong, but a lot of times people obsess over subject lines. They do all this split testing, these different formulas, curiosity gaps. But the reality is, people open emails from people that they know, like, and trust. And so think of it this way: if your significant other, your wife, your husband, your boss, your mother, someone important to you sends an email, are you going to say, you know what, I didn't open the email because it didn't have a very compelling subject line? Absolutely not. Not if you wanted to continue to have a relationship with that person. So really what it comes down to is, if you think about your inbox, the first thing you're looking at is who sent it. Then you're looking at the subject line to see, what is this all about? And so as long as the subject line looks like it's somewhat in the realm of something they're interested in, they're more likely to than if you said it was about something completely different. So it's really more for setting the stage of what this is about, what the email is going to be about. And it doesn't necessarily have to be clever, because open rates aren't even really are that accurate, which we'll get into. Ever since actually iOS 15 back in September of 2021, open rate data has been inflated because Apple and some other systems out there are making it look like the emails are being opened when they're not. So that data is already kind of skewed. So open rates can help you figure out if you're at least heading in the right direction, but don't obsess too much about, like, oh, this particular email had, a 0.2% open rate better than the one with the different subject line. Don't worry so much about that. It's more, is this a topic that they're going to be interested in? And usually you'll write a good subject line from there. And then the next one is that you need a big list. You need to have a huge list, tens or hundreds of thousands of people in order to make email marketing work. And that can be the furthest thing from the truth. I have seen working with people that even a small targeted, the right people will beat big numbers just about every time. And so, and I see this from different angles. And so, having put on 30 something virtual summits in multiple niches, I can tell you that oftentimes someone will say, "Hey, I've got a small list," but I can tell their list is engaged. Why? Because they're signing up through their affiliate link. And sometimes people that have these huge lists, nowhere near pound for pound is their list performing. And so that translates into when you have your offers, that as long as you have the right people on your list and you're educating them and getting them the information they need, they're going to want to stay on your list and continue to learn from you. And that develops that familiarity, that know, like, and trust. So even when you have a smaller list, as long as you have the right plan, you can do very well with your email marketing. So now, do you have the right plan? So if you would like to get a 30-day email plan that you can both find quick wins on your list, as well as set up future customers that maybe have been somewhat cold on your list, you can just comment down below plan, PLAN, and we'll send you over a 30-day email plan that you can implement right away. Super simple, and we'll walk you through the whole process. Now, let's get to myth number 4, and that is segment everything. Segmentation is not a bad thing, but oftentimes with segmentation, it really comes down to folks are focusing so much on segmentation because there's a lot of advice out there that I think is really more e-commerce driven, where, people are focusing on like, okay, people like this shirt, this design, this color, they abandoned cart in the last 30 days and they purchased in the last 365, and they're creating all these like not as necessary in expertise marketing. So if you're that coach, agency owner, consultant, fractional executive, service provider, it's really more about, as long as you have the right people that would be interested in your message, you don't have to do quite as much of that segmenting, because the goal is really just to nurture your audience. And that's really what it comes down to, is what you really want to focus on if you want to do nurturing is maybe people who have engaged with particular types of content, that maybe if you have a specific offer, maybe you only present it to those people. Or if you want to have better deliverability, you focus on something like maybe every few emails you send out to everyone in your list, and then other emails you only send to people that have opened or clicked in the last 30, 60, or 90 days. So that way you're showing the inbox providers like Gmail and Outlook, et cetera, that your emails are worthy of being opened. And then segmentation like that is really more to set up better open rates, so that when you do want to send your whole list, those people that might be somewhat on the fringes, because they're not constantly ignoring your email, that they're more likely to receive your email because Gmail and Outlook saw, oh, people like this person, open the email, so they let it into the inbox, which is one of the things I like to do with email, and then that helps with better list hygiene. So then next up, kind of along the lines of list hygiene, is the myth that it's not so much a myth, it's sometimes more of a misunderstanding, and that is that cold email and email, they're both the same, because after all, email is email. We're just sending people an email. So those type of tools that you would use for cold email, like Instantly or Lemlist, are completely different than tools like ActiveCampaign, MailChimp, ConvertKit, because it has to do with how the email has been being sent out. So you can't send as many out from the same email inbox, or from the same email account, I should say, if you're sending them from Lemlist or Instantly than you could if you're sending out from ConvertKit. But you have to know how to navigate those rules. Otherwise, you can really hurt your deliverability. And so you wouldn't want to just take a list of, people who, are realtors in your area and just reach out to all of them in MailChimp. One, they'll probably shut down your MailChimp account and you'll probably destroy your deliverability. So you have to be very careful with how you do those. So there are tactics you can do for cold email and for warm email. I used to be more of a purist of people absolutely had to, no matter what, sign up and opt in for your list if you're going to send them through ActiveCampaign, MailChimp, etc. I've seen over time that that's not 100% the case. They just have to have some level of engagement with you. Like you wouldn't want to just add cold audiences. You wouldn't buy a lead list from the internet and just add them into those tools. But if you are going to do anything that's not people opting in, just understand there are some gray areas that you could potentially work in, but just be careful of the terms of service of the email provider that you're working with, as well as local laws in your area, which I'm no lawyer, but just, some areas you may have to worry about. People have to opt in. The laws might be more opt out. So just check your local laws and tread lightly from there. But at the end of the day, those are 5 myths that I have seen that can affect your email deliverability and your results that you're getting from emails. So hopefully this video was helpful for you. If you would like to see more about myths that could be causing you problems in your business, check out this video right here.